What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Mile High Misfits. So as you guys know, I usually talk all things C5 Corvette around here. But in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about a tool that really applies to any car owner, but especially if you drive something older like I tend to drive. So stay tuned. So check this out. A company called Auxito sent me this portable jump starter and tire inflator combo. It's compact, rechargeable, and claims it can jumpstart 50 plus vehicles per charge. They also claim this thing can inflate a tire from 0 to 36 PSI in 3 minutes. But not only is this thing a jump starter and tire inflator, but it also has a 400 lumen LED flashlight and acts as a power bank with a USB port. The inflator can inflate bicycle tires, motorcycle tires, car/truck tires, and even has a ball mode. It also fits perfectly in my storage bins in my C5 and also in the center console of my truck. And the best part about all this is that it's currently on sale on their website for $126.99. So when you guys open up the box, you guys are going to see a few things in here. So first of all, it's got this really nice carrying case, which feels pretty sturdy and it feels like it'll protect the unit inside. You also have quite a bit of stuff in here. So you have your tire inflator hose. You have all of your fittings on here as well. You have a charger, so that way you can charge the unit. You also have your jumper cables. They plug right in like that, and then they just disconnect. And then here you have the actual jump starter and flashlight and tire inflator combo. So you turn it on here, and guys, let me tell you, this thing feels really sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap at all, and it also has a really nice user interface on it. So really simple buttons, really easy to use, but is this thing gonna actually work? That's what really matters. I mean, none of this flashiness matters if this doesn't do its job. So let's find out. Obviously, on this channel, I need to see if it could handle something like the Corvette, but in my opinion, the Corvette would be too easy, so we're gonna step it up. We're putting this thing to the real test on our 1994 Cadillac Fleetwood limo. You guys might remember the limo from the limo road trip videos. This thing is big, old, and uses a ton of power. This thing also has the LT1 5.7 liter V8. We're starting with the jump starter. The limo's battery is completely dead. This thing has been sitting for most of the winter, minus a few outings. And I can prove it by trying to start it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So first things first, we have to hook up the jumper cables. So you're going to open up this tab here and you have your input. So we're going to hook this up just like that. And now you have your cables attached. So now let's hook it up to the battery. As you guys can see, it's at 100%. So now let's try it out. As you guys saw, the limo battery was completely dead. There was no juice in this thing. And honestly, guys, this thing did pretty well. It still has 76% battery left, so it probably has enough for another jump, maybe 2 in it. But now let's move on to the next test, which is inflating the tires. So now we're going to try out the tire inflator. I set this tire to 15 PSI, which is definitely low. I'm going to see how long it takes this pump to get it back up to 32 PSI. So let's see how it does. So to get started, you're going to thread this into the top here, and then you're going to turn it on, and then you can set it to whatever PSI you want it at. So I'm going to set it here to 32 PSI. I don't know if you guys can see that at all on the screen, but I set it to 32 PSI, and then we're going to go up here to the mode button. So I'm going to set it on the car mode. That's going to be just switched by this, but you can also switch it to motorcycle mode, bicycle mode, and there's a ball mode at the bottom there. So we're going to leave it on the car mode and see if this thing is fast enough to be practical or if it's just one of those kind of let's get me home kind of things. All right, so to get that tire from 10 PSI to 32 PSI, it actually took about 14 minutes for this thing to do that. So obviously didn't hit that 3-minute mark like they were saying, but it still has 69% battery on this thing. So it could definitely do more than one tire and probably could do another jump start. So we're gonna test out and see if it can do another jump start. I'm gonna drain the battery again, probably not all the way to 0 because it's gonna take too long, but let's just see if this thing can handle another. Well, as you guys saw, this thing barely broke a sweat with that second jump start, and it still has 46%, so that is really impressive. The limo's battery wasn't quite as dead as before, and it was jumping from a warm start as compared to a cold start. So that's why it was a little bit easier for this thing to handle that, but still, this thing has 46% battery left, so you can still use the flashlight, the strobe light, the SOS light, whatever you want to do, and this thing still has quite a bit more to offer. So I'm pretty impressed as far as this thing goes, and honestly guys, bang for the buck, I think this thing's great. Here's the verdict. For a tool that fits in the trunk of my car or in the glove box, this thing's pretty legit. It cranked over the limo multiple times and it aired up the tire from 10 PSI all the way up to 32 PSI. Although it didn't quite hit the specs on the website, I'm still really impressed because the limo is no easy task. Whether you daily drive a C5 or an old beater like the limo, I'd consider throwing one of these in the car, especially for road trips. You never know when you're going to need it, and this might save you a call to AAA. And this is also great for people who want to adjust their tire pressure on the fly at the track. And I wanted to give a huge thank you to Auxito for trusting me to test and review their product. But if you want to pick one of these up for yourself, check the description box below and you'll find the link. And if you want 15% off, you can also use code MISFITS at checkout. But that's all for this week, guys. If you enjoyed the video for today, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for future content. I'll catch you guys next week. Later.